Right, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy, Camel. And a couple of quick things before we get into today's episode. Yesterday, we had a 5k subs party, but this is just me not knowing what I'm doing, really. So the official party is yet to occur because, as you can see, we are not quite at 5k subs yet. But thank you to everyone that showed up and helped out. I'm now ready, I believe. I feel like I know what I'm doing enough to have the proper 5k live stream party as and when we cross the 5k subs. For those of you that are interested in attending the 5k party, then please could you fill out these two polls right here. It looks like it's going to be Friday so far, on a Friday, and I think this one at the top is decided that we're going to do it in the evening or preferably as late as possible, because 1/3 of the brothers and sisters that watch this channel are from across the pond. So in the interest of not asking you guys to wake up at 3 in the morning and start drinking, I'll do it as late as I possibly can. Whilst we're on this idea, I don't ask very often, but apparently a quarter of you are unsubscribed, so it would be really appreciated if you could hit that subscribe button. And I also thought you might find this interesting whilst we're here, all right? Absolute sausage fest. So if you know any women, okay, put them onto the channel. And last but not least, can just one person please turn notifications on, because or turn them off, I don't mind, but we can't be having that, right? We can't be having that. So okay, enough messing around. In all seriousness, I wanted to kick things off with this from Crypto L Prez. From this price level in 2021, it took just 41 days to hit our current all-time high. So that would take us to March the 16th, 2024, if we began that move today. Anyone that thinks all-time high before the halving isn't technically possible clearly hasn't looked at the Bitcoin chart for more than 2 minutes. It certainly is not only possible, right? It is not only possible, but we've seen it do it before. Do keep an open mind about better than expected performance for Bitcoin. Don't be one of these people that is 100% sure of themselves that they know this cycle is not different at all, because this cycle is actually very different. And I'm going to show you why. Objectively speaking, it is different. Bitcoin is currently ahead of its previous bear markets. So at the same stage of the bear market for Bitcoin, it's down just 40% from its all-time high, whereas it was down 80% in the bear market for the second halving, and it was down 65% in the bear market from the first halving. So it's no good saying, well, Bitcoin is exactly the same as it's always been, because it's not, right? Look how far ahead of schedule we are versus here and here. Now, I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying if we were to come out of this cycle low and start a parabola, maybe we could do this. Does it have to be left translated? No. But could it top slightly ahead of time? Yes. Would that make sense? Because people can look left and kind of front run this whole 4-year cycle slightly more than they've done in the past? Yes. And could we maybe see this occur driven by additional capital from things like ETFs? Yes. So far, okay, not too dissimilar, admittedly, but it is ahead of schedule. Okay, it is ahead of schedule. And even if it ends up only slightly early, that will still be earlier than most people are expecting. And again, it goes back to this idea that not only can we do it before the halving, but we've done that kind of move before. So it would be unusual, yes, but do not rule it out as one possible scenario. Something else that is undeniably different this time around is we have spot Bitcoin ETFs, okay? And the cumulative spot Bitcoin ETF volume has just surpassed $30 billion. GBTC, which initially held 620,000 Bitcoin before the ETF started trading, now has 477,000 Bitcoin, which is a 26% drop from the top. But the too long didn't read here is take a look at the spot Bitcoin ETF volumes up and to the right. That's not nothing. Also, take a look at hash, okay? Take a look at hash. Is this the same as previous cycles? Not really, right? Yes, it went parabolic here, here, and here, but this move is unlike anything ever seen, okay? The distance as well, the amount of hashes that we added between here and here are significantly more than we added between here and here, say. So again, under the hood, things aren't exactly the same. Now, are they hugely dissimilar? No, I admit that. I'm not trying to come out here and say everything is different, but I'm just saying it's not exactly the same, right? It's not exactly the same. Also, Bitcoin has a history of doing well in the face of bank blowups. And whilst we haven't seen the second round, or the next round, I should say, of bank blowups, we are starting to see some cracks in the system. Okay, this is US regional bank stocks 1 month into 2024. 60% down, 25% down, right? You can read. So the regional bank worries are resurfacing as New York Community Bank, which acquired the collapsed Signature Bank, has cut their dividend by 70%. These are the same banks that hold nearly 70% of commercial real estate loans. Remember that commercial real estate is starting to break because nobody wants to roll over the mortgages and refinance the mortgages at these higher interest rates, especially because people can work from home now, right? Many offices have significantly less people in them. So why do they want to refinance a, relatively speaking, empty office at a much, much higher interest rate. Why do that when you can just send people home with a laptop and either get a smaller office or have no office whatsoever? Commercial real estate is in trouble, and it's in such trouble that it's starting to cause bank failures, or at least problems in bank balance sheets. And remember, this is just 10 months after the regional banking crisis was allegedly over. As always, though, Bitcoin doesn't care. Historically speaking, Bitcoin does well off of bank failures. No surprises there, really. I wanted to play you this clip of Jack here, and there's a bunch of swearing in. I'm going to do my best to edit it out, but if you're watching with children, which I doubt you are, but if you are, then maybe cover some ears, just in case I miss one or two of the curse words.
I think Bitcoin's going to rip the face off this market. I think Bitcoin's going to 200,000 to 1 million. Between that, which people are always like, that's such a wide range, you dick. Well, you're asking me to price something in a piece of paper that these guys print all the time. It's less of how high do I think Bitcoin's going to go. It's how much are these guys going to print. Like, I don't fucking know. They're going to stimulate 10 trillion, 5 trillion, 15 trillion. You know, if they do 4 times as much as they did in COVID, yeah, it could go to a million.
Right.
If they do the same as COVID, yeah, it goes to 400K. If they do half of COVID, 250K. So somewhere in that range. But I think Bitcoin shows you how this thing really is. It's what Bitcoin does every time. It's like, oh, the S&P was up 49%. Gold did well. Gold was up 8%. What's that thing? Whoa, 160%. And that's the free market being like, your system's a piece of trash. You can't control this thing. So we're going to tell you exactly how your system is. So I think the system's really and the best way to monetize that is to own Bitcoin. But the best way to express it, I think it puts up a big number over the next 2 years.
So there you have it. I really like that clip. I really, really am a big fanboy of Jack as it goes. I don't say that about many people. I know a lot of people come out and say, why should we listen to these kids in their pajamas or whatever? But I mean, this guy's a billionaire, all right? So he probably knows something that you don't. That's my stance on that. Lastly, before we look at a couple of charts, MicroStrategy just bought another 850 Bitcoin. So the business intelligence firm has acquired 31,755 Bitcoin since the end of Q3 2023 for $1.25 billion. Saylor does, he does not care, right? He does not care. And when people are paper-handed their Bitcoin, you know, these are the types of people that are buying it. So, a couple of interesting things that I'm seeing in the charts. Number one, the DXY, so far, not clearing this 104 and change level. Now, am I kind of still expecting to see some deviation in the worst case scenario into that CPI print due on the 13th of February? Yes. I've been quite consistent in saying what I wanted to see initially was this, something like this. And we kind of looked like we got that, and then we didn't. And then I said, well, you know, it was always on the cards that what we would have to see instead is some kind of deviation into CPI. So maybe we're going to see that, maybe we're not. Either way, whether we break down here or whether we do the top yellow squiggle, I'll be happy with that. But of course, being as objective as possible, very, very strong candidate at the moment for the 3-year cycle low already being in for the DXY. So just because that's in doesn't mean the Dixie couldn't run and the stock market and Bitcoin couldn't go higher, but life will be a lot easier and we will be following more logic if the Dixie rolls over one last time into what becomes the 3-year cycle low down here. So far, encouraging signs, but of course, like I said, we've got to get to the CPI print really before we can start understanding the direction of the DXY. Bitcoin still hanging around, isn't it? Still not dropping down into that cycle low. So, you know, maybe it does it, maybe it doesn't. Either way, if we get a strong move up, right? Let me start this again. If we do indeed pull back from here, then we can say happy days, cycle low, long and strong out of that swing, right? That's, you know, I've been very consistent in saying that. Something else that could occur though is that we break out from here. And if we do, then we will just say, okay, we've got a new cycle, and we'll take it from there. The crypto-related equities behaving exactly as we wanted to see, right? They had that counter-trend bounce, they rolled over into that cycle low timing window. So now it's just a case of waiting to see the swing and a breakout, right? Once we get those two things, I'm going to be adding longs for these crypto-related equities. The same is true of MicroStrategy, yeah? Get some kind of pullback and a swing and a reversal confirmed by a trendline break, and I'm going to be adding a position there. The same is true of Riot, and of course the same is true of Marathon. So I'm going to be looking for trades. I might even set myself up like an earlier entry, maybe something like this. I don't really like that, but yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyway, for now, we're in that neighborhood where we're looking for swings. Hopefully, Bitcoin's going to get that pullback, but If it doesn't, it doesn't, right? And it doesn't really matter because, if it gets away from us, which I don't think it will, but if it does, we'll just play the crypto-related equities. These setups are undeniably much cleaner, right? And if I zoom out on Coinbase, for example, look at this big range, horizontal green level denotes the top of the range, right? We've had breakout, retest, secondary retest. If we can resume off of here, then that confirms a bottom, as well as with the confluence of the cycle and the downward sloping red resistance trendline break. So all of that tells me we go to all-time highs next, assuming, of course, the yellow squiggle can play out. Very, very exciting time to be in the crypto space. Take a look at oil, right? Here's oil. So daily cycle low, that's probably it right there. Looking for this cycle to fail before day 20, roll over, confirm it with a trendline break. So no area to attack here. Always, of course, the chance that I'm flat wrong and oil is going to run. But, it kind of makes sense that we get a few days rally into that CPI print. Then CPI comes in really cold and oil suddenly decides it's going to do this. And if it does, I'm going to be looking for a short entry. So, I've given you plenty of warning. This is well called out well ahead of time, isn't it? Gold chart's looking kind of messy, but you can kind of see those, nothing has really changed, right? We're looking for a cycle low to left translate and roll over, and then we can be looking for shorts. I've had quite a few people ask me to cover the gold miners, and it's not that I'm not covering them so much as, we need gold to be in a true bull market for these to start outperforming. And as you can see, right, there's a long way to go. There's a lot of repairs to make even here. The junior miners, look, we had this false breakout and a rollover. So until the price can get back above this outer blue resistance line, there's no real trade from me personally. And the same is true of the junior miners as well. If we zoom out a bit, get rid of that because we don't need that. Look, we had the fake breakout, right? But we've been rejected at resistance. We've rolled over. So until we can get back above this, it's not going to be go time. Given what I said for gold, looking for shorts and a decline into a weekly cycle low, only makes sense that silver and all of these miners would follow at some point, right? At some point, I'm going to be very interested in playing all of these, but now it's just not the time, in my humble opinion. VIX, look, still doesn't care about China, does it? Doesn't care about anything. So fine, happy days. Russell 2K, catching a green candle as of yesterday, but is this breakdown or retest looking for that resumption? I don't know. That's to be determined. As you know, I want to see this thing move higher into the end of this week. Stock market, long and strong, continue to push, right? What else is there to say? Same is true of the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. So looks like we're leaving behind half cycle lows on our way to somewhere in this neighborhood, and then we can get a decline into a cycle low and look to go again. I will say this, although I'm a fan of stacking positions, as we get up into this neighborhood and that cycle low decline is in sight, I am going to be closing both of these positions and taking the profit, and I'm probably going to take the profit from the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones, and then I'll be looking for a re-entry somewhere lower down. So expect me to take some profit in the not too distant future, but we're not quite there yet. And of course, with that said, if we just start breaking down early, so say today we close below here, then we'll get ready to take profit on this trade, because once we start losing upward sloping red support lines, of course, then, we don't want to be pushing longs whilst the thing is breaking down. So all the while we're above the red supports, we'll continue to push the longs and we'll be looking to take profit higher up, but start to lose those, and of course we'll take the profit sooner. So pretty nice simple reads at the moment, right? It's all pretty binary. We seem to know what's going on. I expect as we get closer to the 13th, when the CPI print is due, we'll start to get some chop and some volatility. But as it stands, long and strong, continue to push. Still hoping to see that pullback in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's really the only thing that's not playing ball, right? Everything else is kind of following the script and moving as expected, and including the crypto-related equities, right? This is how Bitcoin should look, according to the cycle. But for some reason, it looks like this. So I can only really interpret that as relative strength, okay? And it either means, like I said, that we're going to get a plunge, a quick V like that, and happy days will buy the swing, or it means that, we're going to just do this. And all that tells us is Bitcoin is showing relative strength, and thus, going right back to our initial slides, right? Maybe we're staring down the face of something a lot stronger than people are ready for, or perhaps the camel is too bullish as always. And please do go and answer those polls. Please do let me know what time you want to see the live stream. Please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and someone hit that notification button as well, please. I love you all. Thank you for being here. And until next time, take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.